Okay, y'all, we are going to get things started. I am still Godfrey Plata, him, the director at LA Forward Institute, and someone who's benefited from SJP's work in the past. Are y'all ready to meet 7 amazing people who are here to share their stories with you? Yes? This is how we're going to welcome them into the room. Unlike the wave, which was unscripted, we are going to actually slow clap everybody in, which isn't the script. And here's what we're going to do. Our folks are going to be entering the room, grand entrance from that direction over there. And as we welcome them into the room, there's 7 of them. And as you can see, it's a long ways from here to there. So our slow clap is going to start real slow. We're going to go like... Okay, we're going to start there, and then we're going to start picking up the slow clap as folks come up to this stage. Okay, let's start practicing. You didn't know we would have so much fun today. SGPLA Systems Change Fellows. Okay, ready? Here come our fellows, and there they are. Yes! Welcome to the stage! Yes! And we'll hear back from them soon. Let's clap them off stage! Thanks, all super excited. Amma, tell us about some things we are going to do to get things started.
We're going to try something a little different. It involves magic. Magic in the form of a QR code. So you're going to see a QR code pop up, and you're going to take out your magical little devices, also known as phones, and snap that QR code, and we have a question for you. When we were out in the courtyard, we were talking about communities that we care about, that we belong to, knowing that communities are intersectional and we're part of many. We'd love to hear you share what you shared earlier, which is, like, what are the communities that you belong to? And we'll get to see them pop up on this magical screen and get a sense of who is in the room. Let's see how diverse and mighty our community is.
So you should see the same question on your phone as you see up on the screen. And you're beginning to populate in real time your responses. If the QR code doesn't work for you, there's a slide, there's a website at the very top of the screen.
That is magical.
Me too.
Wow, I love seeing all the regions, the valley, all the way to Honduras. I love that Queer is just holding it down and not just, yes, Queer.
Like you, not queer people.
And now to sort of set the stage, I want to welcome our amazing executive director, Christine Margiata.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Story of Us. I am so happy you all are here. So you may have noticed this event has a new name this year. We are Story of Us, in this acknowledgement of the power of storytelling. Stories have the power to heal and honor our past. They have the power to help us face into the present. And they have the power and magic of writing our future. 2025 has been a rough year for many of us, and we have had the privilege of walking alongside this amazing cohort of Systems Change Fellows as they navigate the loss and the heartbreak, the trauma and the grief of this time. Rajay, one of the leaders that you'll meet today, named them the Phoenix cohort. And we have witnessed them rise to this moment with such imagination and strength, such courage and creativity. I'm so excited for you to hear from them today. We'll have the opportunity to hear their truths and for all of us to face into the truths of this moment together and to hear their invitation into the future that they're writing and that we can write together as a story of us. So before we hear from them, I want to invite you to reflect on a moment in your life when you faced into a truth. It might have been something you were scared to look at, something that maybe intimidated you or you avoided. But once you faced into that truth, your future was changed forever. I think about when I was coming out and I realized that all the scripts for my future were made up. I realized that gender was a construct. The mononormative nuclear family was one option of many. And suddenly I was faced with this terrifying truth that my future was a blank page. And on the other side of that truth was my freedom. I remember learning that whiteness and race are a construct, an invention meant to justify centuries of genocide, enslavement, mass incarceration. As I faced into this truth, I also faced into myself and the ways that I'm complicit in white supremacy and the ways that my whiteness impacts any space that I'm in. And on the other side of that truth was the opportunity to be a part of co-creating completely different systems and communities of care, and this humbling reality that I am one small part of the fabric of life. I remember learning the history of policing, its roots in the slave trade, brutality masked as safety, centuries of tearing families apart to this day. And facing into that, I also faced into the ways that I've internalized policing, the ways I might be tempted to police my children, my relationships, the ways I police my body, my voice, my presence in the world. So as I faced into these truths, these brutalities in our systems, I also faced them within myself. And on the other side of those truths is the safety that comes with community, with authenticity, with my body, my home. So today we have the opportunity to face into the truths of this moment. We'll hear from these incredible leaders who will offer us an invitation into the future that they're writing. And together we can co-create a story of us that recognizes that our liberation is bound up with one another, that we can write a future that is grounded in that belonging, that liberation and justice, and that can be our story of us. But thank you all so much for being here today, and I can't wait to just witness these stories and be in community with you. Thank you.
Christine! Thank you so much, Christine, for grounding us together in the futures that we want to build with each other, and that has already begun bringing us into this room and continues today. As we mentioned earlier, you are entering the first ever story of us, LA, but we know prior to this, it had a life as Fast Pitch. And this is the 16th time we've had this event. So back on your phones, tell us how many Fast Pitches prior to today's story of us, LA, have you been to before today? And looks like it's a race between first one and 3+. Let's see who wants to go back to that same QR code if you haven't responded yet, or you can go up there. QR code. I don't know that we can. It looks like it's very tiny up here, but there is an address right at the very top there. It says ahaslides.com/capital M26FL. All right, we're going to keep seeing, keep participating there. It looks like you've also discovered the emojis at the bottom. You can like things in real time, heart things in real time. But if this is your first time here with us, Amma, can you tell us a little bit about what to expect?
So in just a few minutes, we are going to hear from 7 incredible systems change fellows. I've had the pleasure of getting to be in community with all of you for weeks now, and I am blown away by the work that you all lead, and I know everyone in this room will be as well. From addressing health equity and racial justice to revolutionizing our food and educational systems and structures, each of our fellows brings a unique lived experience, vision, perspective to the change work that they are leading.
Thanks for that. And there's a lot of love being said to you all already. They haven't even heard the stories yet. We've had an opportunity to preview their stories over the last few months or so that they'll be sharing with you today. And what we know is true is that some of them are deeply personal and grapple with challenging issues that are very real for us in our current world that we're in. That's why we're trying to change that. And we know as they share challenging stories and personal anecdotes with you that there'll be a lot of feelings that each of us will also have as we receive those stories in this space. So while stories are holding space here, if at any time anybody here needs to step out, there's actually a room right over here called the Cabrillo room. You can walk out here and then make a right. If you need some quiet space, you just need to take a break for yourself, take a pause, feel free to do so at any time. But with that, Amma, tell us a little bit about where we're going.
I think we get to hear from our speakers now.
Now, I have the privilege to introduce Dr. Peter Watts, CEO of the Watts of Power Foundation. Peter is a dedicated educator who has committed his life to support Black educators. His remarkable work is transforming the educational landscape as we know it by ensuring that schools have Black educators and therefore shaping the future of our communities. In addition, he's a social media influencer, so catch him on TikTok. So I ask you to give Dr. Peter Watts a round of applause.
When was the first time you had a caring teacher in your K-12 experience?
Great.
I know what it's like to have an educational system that wasn't built for you. I was one of the few Black students who had a Black educator for the first time in 3rd grade. Her name was Mrs. Sturdivant, and she was the first person that showed genuine care and concern for me as a student. Well, it would be some 15 years later before I had a Black male teacher in college who was my college professor in math. And he said to me, "You can achieve at high levels." My name is Dr. Peter Watts, and I'm the CEO, co-founder of the Watts of Power Foundation. And our mission is simple: to close the recruitment and retention gap for Black men who want to become teachers and remain in the profession. Did you know that Black men only make up 2% of the teaching workforce nationwide, while there's overwhelming evidence that says if you have one Black teacher in grades 3 through 5, your dropout rate decreases by 39% and college aspirations increase by 29%. You see, in my own K-12 experience, I was trapped for special ed, overlooked to be identified in the gifted and talented programs when I could have given to my school community. And that lack of care in my education would show up in 1997 when I decided to become a teacher, as evidenced by the number of times I had to repeat the licensing exams to become a teacher. This is deeply personal for me because my own son, who's now a teacher here in Los Angeles, faced some of those same barriers that I faced some 27 years later. And that's why we exist, to remove the barriers that prevent Black men from becoming teachers and remaining in the profession. You see, I know the impact that a Black educator can have on students, as evidenced by one of my former students by the name of Cordell. When I was a principal, I ensured that we had many Black male educators on our campus, something really rare, especially for Black boys in America. Cordell was impacted by caring teachers while he was in middle school. And when Cordell went to college and graduated, he decided to join our residency program. And I'm proud to say that next month, Cordell will have his credential. He quit his job at Smart and Final and trusted the process that we're taking him through. Cordell is proof that representation matters. We have a big, hairy, audacious goal. Over the next 2 years, we're raising $2.5 million. But today, you can support by raising $200,000 that will support our young men in this next cohort of 10 young men that are becoming teachers, that provides them professional development, gives them a therapist, a life coach, and support as they are going through our residency program. You can be a part of something special by not just supporting Black men who are becoming teachers, but the impact that they're going to have on students in our communities and transforming the very communities that they serve. So I ask you again, when was the first time you had a caring teacher in your K-12 experience? Thank you. I am thrilled to introduce to you Sonya Young Aadam. Sonya is the CEO of the Black Women's Health Project and a 2024-25 System Change Fellow. Sonya is sounding the alarm on a health crisis we can't ignore. Today, Sonya will share a bold, community-driven action plan to fight back by building systems of care, protection, and power. Get ready to hear how the California Black Women's Health Project is turning the tide before it's too late. Please welcome Sonya Young Aadam.
Thank you, Peter. Pretty powerful. We love you, Sonya.
At California Black Women's Health Project, we stand in the gap in pursuit of better health and wellness for Black women and families. We value the Black community as a system of change with its own mindsets, power dynamics, behaviors, and norms. And we uplift Black women as the best hope and catalyst for achieving health and wellness for our entire community. However, the Black women, the ones in whom we place such great hope and who are a vital part of our community system, are facing a health tsunami that threatens to destroy and break down the underlying structures, relationships, and systems that we hold so dear. My name is Sonya Young Aadam, and I am a Black woman who is deeply afraid of the threat of Alzheimer's and other dementias on the hearts, minds, and souls of Black women. I am the Black woman that I speak about, and then I think about
and I have dedicated my passion and vocation to serve, empower, and protect. I am that Black woman and she is me, and I know that she is several of you in this room. The Centers of Disease Control is projecting a 4-fold increase in the incidence of Alzheimer's in the Black community. 4-fold. This debilitating cognitive condition creates ever-widening gaps in our memories, our skills, and our very survivability. Alzheimer's and other dementias have the potential to destroy the lives of everyone who loves them and who is a caregiver for victims of Alzheimer's. Will you join me today to stand in the gap of this threat tsunami, this threat of Alzheimer's and other dementias? Today we are seeking $500,000 in support to develop a multi-sector, community-led action plan to train, empower, and fight for Black women who deserve to live free of this devastating disease. It's no secret that we live in a society where the intersection of age, race, and gender isms negatively impact the lives of Black women. Black Americans are twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's than white Americans, and 35% less likely to be diagnosed and receive treatment. And women are experience 25% higher rates of Alzheimer's than men. When you consider these disparities, along with the thought and the threat of this disease quadrupling in our community, we have an imminent emergency threat that requires an imminent emergency response. Just this morning, if you were watching CNN, you would have heard about an announcement that the National Institutes of Health is planning to eliminate research funding for Alzheimer's. That only adds to this potentially devastating disease that's coming for our community. I fear for myself, for my loved ones, and for the estimated 200,000 Black women just in LA County who are 50 plus, because this tsunami is coming for us. Women who are primarily the administrative heads, the health heads, and way too often the heads of our households. Our importance to our families, our community, and the county would be disturbingly and tragically diminished if 4 times more of us were experiencing Alzheimer's. Will you please join me for collective action, advocacy, and activism across healthcare, elder care, social care, and community care? Thank you. Civil rights leader Ella Baker said, "Give light and people will find the way." Okha Butler is a giver of the light of healing and the light of love. Inspired by her own journey, she founded and developed the Heart Center, a sanctuary and retreat center that is a place of light and hope that helps others find their way. Okha's story, her work, and her aspirations for expanding this work have certainly moved me. I am sure that you will be moved as well. Please join me in welcoming Okha Butler to the stage.
Please.
Growing up, my grandmother taught me the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurvuvah Swaha Tatsavitu Vanariam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Elders have said that light illuminates all aspects of life when this ancient mantra is spoken. When I was a baby, my mother was stabbed 27 times. And 22 years later, my father was arrested for her murder without any substantial evidence by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. I spent 188 days in court proceedings, witnessing my father being sentenced to the life without the possibility of parole. I was paranoid, full of shame, and angry at a system that was designed to fail us. I numbed myself with alcohol, and the weight of it all manifested in my body as chronic pain. Therapy was out of reach. All I had was the Gayatri mantra. One day, I walked into a yoga studio, and at the end of a yoga session, I heard the Gayatri mantra. For the first time, I heard the translation in English. Something in me began to shift. I began exploring different wellness practices and trainings and attending life-changing retreats. Through all of these experiences, I began to find my lifeline, my breath. How we breathe is truly how we live our lives. My name is Okha Butler, and I am the founder and executive director of the Heart Center. We move with an intention, and our intention at the Heart Center is to provide those who are currently incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, and their loved ones with access to free healing retreats and wellness programs of their choice. See, we create the space and access for individuals to reconnect with their mind, body, and hearts. Today, about 2 million people are currently incarcerated. The prison system is creating trauma in human lives, and thus more trauma in their families and communities, and even more trauma in the world. Did you know that post-incarceration syndrome is a form of PTSD? Healing is a human right, not a privilege. Antoinette, who's 34 years old, spent 14 and a half years on a life sentence. After attending our retreat, she was able to experience her first breathwork and sound healing session, her first time learning about intention settings and receiving therapy that really resonated with her. It was also her first time receiving a massage. The care doesn't stop when they leave our retreat. Rashida, who's 30 years old, spent 12 years inside, and Shirley's brother is still incarcerated. After attending our multi-day retreat, they both graduated from a yoga teacher training. So we're not just supporting their healing, we're also creating jobs. According to our surveys, every retreat participant has reported a life-changing transformation. Our proof of concept is groundbreaking. There are people knocking on our doors craving these opportunities. What we need right now is the funding to sustain and expand our impact. We're asking for $750,000 to grow our team and provide 12 retreats, giving 144 people access to our signature You Are the Master of You week-long retreat. That's approximately $5,000 per participant, covering transportation, a private room, the healing modalities of their choice, weekly therapy sessions, and ongoing care before and well after the retreat. I'm inviting you with open arms to join the Heart Center in illuminating the path to healing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Okha. Let's give another round of applause for our fellows. We've gone blessed by. Thank you. Appreciate y'all being here. Don't worry, we still have 3 more fellows and 3 more stories coming. We just wanted to pause and tell you a little bit about the story of how these fellows have gotten here today. My name is Michelle, the program manager supporting the Systems Change Fellowship, and this is my colleague, Sharon. The Systems Change Fellowship is really at the heart of Story of Us LA. Every year we invite really visionary leaders, folks who are not just imagining a better Los Angeles, but they're also building it. And these leaders have direct lived experience of the issues that they are tackling. And that's by this program's design, because we believe that proximity is power, and those who lived it not only get it, they get it done. Right. And all these fellows have shown that every day throughout the fellowship. In 9 months, they build a really close-knit community, and they support each other and uplift each other, and they really challenge each other. And as impact grows, as leaders grow together, and we all have an opportunity to be part of this growth. Folks like you all kind of contribute resources so we can offer each fellow unrestricted funding and coaching, and closest to our heart, work of peers who truly get it. Because let's be real, this work can be hard sometimes, and no one should have to go through it alone. So that's why this fellowship exists. And good news is that we are growing. Applications are open. So if you or you know someone who is doing systems change work in Los Angeles, help us spread the word. Applications are due May 14th, and you can check the website for more info or come find us at the social afterwards.
So as Michelle mentioned, one of the core offerings of the Systems Change Fellowship is the dedicated coaching support. So over 10 intensive weeks of communications training, we have 14 incredible volunteer coaches show up at each of our sessions and in between to walk alongside each of the fellows who you're meeting today, and to support them in honing these powerful narratives of their work and their personal stories. So I want to take a minute to appreciate our fantastic coaches who made this all possible. If you're a coach, please stand up. I know we've got coaches in this room. We'd love to celebrate you with a big round of applause. Thank you to each of you for partnering with us in the cohort and making this possible, and also extending a lot of gratitude to our coaches who couldn't be at the event. All right. I want to, before we move on to our presenters, just a reminder that we will have a post-presentation reception mingler. So please stick around, meet each other, build community, say hi to our awesome coaches and fellows. So please stick around. And with that, I will hand back over to Okha. Wonderful.
Thank you. And we would also like to thank Social Justice Partners LA. Thank you for everything. Me on behalf of the fellows. This has been a journey. We've learned so much about ourselves as we're able to share this with community of LA and beyond. I am so excited and eager to introduce this beautiful human, the founder of Opportunities for Success. He holds immense wisdom and has supported me in my own personal journey. And The work he is doing is extremely powerful and needed right now. He is supporting Los Angeles community, in particular the youth. And I would love to introduce Phillip Rock Lester.
My name is Rock. I'm the founder of Opportunities for Success, a nonprofit that is rooted in system change. Our flagship youth entrepreneurial training program is rooted or based on an old adage of not giving a person a fish and feeding them for a night, but instead teach them how to fish and feed them for a lifetime. I was called to this work from my own personal lived experience, working in nonprofit and facilitating youth programs, recognizing the gaps between deliverables versus needs, community organizational ideals versus community impact. While working in community, I was able to engage a lot of the young people and have genuine conversations about their desires, needs, and future goals. And what I heard in those conversations is that a lot of the young people had ideals of owning their own business. They had aspirations of being entrepreneurs, an ideal that I had when I was a young person as well, but simply did not have the direction, mentorship, nor the resources. Realizing that there was a huge need for youth entrepreneurial training, I decided to embark upon the journey of developing a youth entrepreneurial training program centered around fashion, making designer hoodies, customizing t-shirts, and stylish accessories like pen buttons. In search for resources to support my ideal, I realized that there was no state, county, or city resources to support youth entrepreneurial training efforts. Actually, there was more money in the Los Angeles city's budget being allocated towards police dogs than there was in the whole youth development department for Los Angeles City youth. Being blown away by the lack of resources for Los Angeles City youth and understanding some of the consequences, juvenile delinquency, youth incarceration, and school to prison pipeline, I was compelled to create Opportunities for Success. Our 12-week youth entrepreneurial training program allows young people to transform the creative ideals around fashion into a marketable piece of fashion. Currently, our program is being funded out of pocket. We are asking for $300,000 to support 3 cohorts for the year. This will accommodate 30 young people, 10 youth per cohort. This cost includes material, machinery, such as a heat press, printer, computer, and other related items post-graduation that our graduates would take home with them to help them further their youth entrepreneurial training efforts. If our program was fully resourced, we could offer our program throughout Los Angeles City. This will potentially lead to more small businesses and the creation of more younger taxpayers, like Isaiah Williams, who is a shining star in our program, who is now training other youth on how to transform their ideals around design into fashion. At Opportunities of Success, we are giving folks, our young people, an opportunity that leads to a pathway out of poverty. We believe in Opportunities of Success that the difference between success and failure is opportunity. And today, you all have the opportunity to invest in our youth entrepreneurial training program. Thank you. I'm honored to be here to introduce our next fellow, The story is going to be here. It's going to be told on the video. Rajay, who is a very inspiring person, who is full of zeal. She is the executive director of Umoja Food Collective. She's a system change fellow, and I'm proud to be a part of this fellowship with her. And with no further delay, Rajay's video.
Imagine a city as vast and diverse as Los Angeles, teeming with life and energy. Yet beneath the surface, an invisible crisis lurks. Black and brown communities are trapped in food deserts, their streets saturated with unhealthy food choices. In South LA, almost half of Black and Latino families experience food insecurity and obesity, more than triple the rates of white households. As our children grow up surrounded by fast food chains, it becomes increasingly challenging for families to access healthier alternatives without leaving their neighborhoods. I'm Rajay Branch, Executive Director of Umoja Food Collective. Born and raised in South LA, I've witnessed beloved neighborhood spots disappear, leaving a void in our vibrant community. During the COVID-19 pandemic, 41% of Black-owned businesses were forced to close their doors. That's more than twice the losses of white-owned businesses. This alarming statistic only emphasizes the disparities within our communities. Umoja, a Swahili word meaning unity, is the foundation of our organization. In communities like South Central, Watts, and Compton, Black food entrepreneurs are an essential part of the food ecosystem from seed to plate. They are our farmers, grocers, chefs who put food on our tables. They are our neighbors, friends, and family who work tirelessly to make food a reality in our communities. Umoja Food Collective is committed to building a Los Angeles that refuses to let people go hungry because of their zip code. Our goal is to tackle food justice by empowering Black food entrepreneurs through one-on-one business coaching, technical assistance workshops, and vital grants that support the sustainability of businesses founded and led by Black people. Black-owned small businesses protect communities from the impact of gentrification and displacement by hiring locally and investing in the communities they serve. With upcoming events like the World Cup and Olympics, we anticipate a surge of foot traffic that will bring financial opportunities from around the world to Los Angeles and surrounding areas. Umoja is committed to ensuring that Black food entrepreneurs can reap the benefits for their businesses and our community as a whole. To achieve our mission, we need your help. Umoja is seeking $500,000 as we transition out of fiscal sponsorship. During this pivotal time in our organization's trajectory, we invite you to partner with us to help us build our capacity to cover salaries, technology, curriculum development, and grants for businesses. Your contribution will have a direct impact on the lives of Black food entrepreneurs and contribute to a more just and thriving Los Angeles. Together, we can foster unity, change the narrative of entrepreneurship, and make healthy food a reality for all.
That was me. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so we're nearing the end of our journey together, and I get the honor of introducing someone that I've come to know and admire, Dr. Avriel Epps. Epps is the founder of AI for Abolition and author of a kid's book about AI bias, which is available for purchase, so you should buy the book. They are the proud parent of a 6-year-old, and they bring so much care and depth into everything they do.
Avriel completed their PhD in education with a focus on human development at Harvard. Funny enough, we're at Harvard at the very same time, but we never crossed paths. Thanks to this cohort, I'm so glad we did. Get ready to hear some words from someone who balances radical imagination and Beyonce lyrics, Dr. Avriel.
Most people experience algorithms as recommendations. What to watch next, what to buy, who to follow. I have a slightly different experience with them. Algorithms brought a former friend who had sexually assaulted me when we were teenagers back into my life. The first were social media algorithms that made him go viral for the prison advocacy work he was doing. It was painful to see him show up on my feeds over and over again, and it also reminded me that people are capable of growth and transformation. Then algorithms led me to a retreat where I was invited into a transformative justice circle with that same friend. The support and safety of an accountability process brought both of us more healing than any prison sentence ever could have. Yet we know that AI is being used to expand the power of a criminal legal system designed to optimize for surveillance and punishment, not accountability and healing. For example, facial recognition technology misidentifies Black and brown faces, leading to wrongful arrest. And large language models are more likely to recommend the death penalty for defendants who sound Black compared to those who sound white. These systems don't make justice more fair, they make inequality more efficient. Technology doesn't have to be used this way. What if we could use the power of AI not to punish, but to repair? What if technology could be used to help people take accountability, mediate harm, and get communities' basic emotional needs met so that we can prevent violence from happening in the first place? What if we could make prisons and police obsolete? These questions are why I founded AI for Abolition. Our flagship product is an app called Repair. It connects transformative and restorative justice practitioners to one another so that they can share resources, train new facilitators, and increase their capacity to mediate harm in their communities. We're also experimenting with providing hyper-personalized guidance to anyone who wants to lead a transformative circle using open-sourced large language models. Our vision is a world where teachers, parents, counselors, neighbors, friends have the tools that they need in their back pockets to address harm when it happens without having to call the police and risk more violence happening at their hands. A world where everyday people, not just judges, prosecutors, or algorithms, determine what real accountability looks like. And Repair is just the beginning. To scale this work, we need partners. We are raising $1.5 million to hire a team of currently and formerly incarcerated software engineers, paying them equitably, giving them the training they need to re-enter their communities, and ensuring that we value their expert knowledge as those who are closest to the problems that we seek to solve. Because AI doesn't have to only serve the same systems of power that have always harmed our communities. We can build technology differently if we're willing to center those at the margins. And AI for Abolition is leading the way. Will you join us?
I told you they were amazing. Systems change, fellows. Please rise. Well, turn around and receive love. Again, Maribel Cruz from ÓRALE. Dr. Peter Watts from Watts of Power Foundation. Sonya Young Aadam from California Black Women's Health Project. Okha Butler from the Heart Center. Phillip Rock Lester from Opportunities for Success. Rajay Branch from Umoja Food Collective. And Dr. Avriel Epps from AI for Abolition. Thank you, Systems Change Fellows, for the work you do.
All right. Our System Change Fellows gave so much to you today, and they worked so hard at doing it. Now it's time to hear a little bit from you all about what you are taking away from today. So get ready to interact again. That's why they brought me in. All right. We're going to ask you to turn to a few folks around you, and we're going to ask you to debrief this question. What's a value or message that you heard today that you want to carry with you? What's a value or message that you heard today that you want to carry with you? You're going to talk with folks around you, debrief this question. We're going to ask some of you to share what you talked about. If you need to write, guess what? There's a QR code where you can also type in your responses there as well. But we want you to talk and process out your answers. Go ahead and take a few moments to process. All right. I know you just got started with your conversations. That's why there's a social after this for you to continue talking. I'm going to bring us back together. As I promised, we want to actually hear what you all started to talk about in terms of your values and message, or messages that you heard that you're going to be carrying with you today. And so I'd love to see hands of anybody who wants to share out loud. We have a microphone runner amongst you in the audience, so raise your hands. If you aren't going to raise your hand, we're going to ask you to raise your phone to the QR code and for you to type out what you are sharing in terms of the values and message that you are walking away. So everyone's doing something with their hands. It's either a QR code or a microphone. We've got someone here. If you could introduce yourselves and share with us what value or message you heard today that you are carrying away with you.
Hi, my name is Mohammed Aadam. I'm the husband of Miss Sonya Young Aadam. Though my wife rehearsed this over quite a bit, hearing it in a big stage, that along with the gentleman who spoke about the young people needing money to become entrepreneurs, but there's more money for the dogs, for police dogs. How interesting. And I love animals, but that I have to turn that around. So I thought that was interesting, as well as the thing about incarceration. So I learned about we're all in a melting pot, and that it's important that we understand each other and understand what's going on. And so that's what I took away, and it's wonderful.
Thank you so much. And we are hearing, of course, people echo this need for community and solidarity amongst each other. It's about the things that we are learning about from each other. We have another hand back here.
Oh, is it? Hi, my name is Victoria Wright, and a value message that I've heard today that I'm really carrying with me as a young professional getting into the public health field is we all say we want to change the world, but changing the world starts directly within your community. And me personally, I didn't have any Black teachers, and then I worked at a school later on, and I wasn't even a teacher, just like a teaching assistant, how inspired the kids were that I was even there. And it just started, in your community to change the whole world, because being an educator, helping people with incarceration, Black women's health, all of this leads up to the whole world, changing the entire world, because we're putting these things into place, and maybe the things you guys do will turn into law and change it for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are hearing even more up here as well. If you haven't plugged in yet, let's take one more, and then we'll move on to a second question.
Good afternoon. My name is Pastor E with P2P Community Development. It's not so much what I heard, but what I see. the collaboration in the room, where we need more spaces and places like this that we can hear each other's. I think my friend next door to me right here said the actual hearing of the story, it makes it more lifelike than reading a brochure. And then the collaboration between all of us. One thing that we do like to push is that we all have something to put in. When we collaborate like this, we can find out probably everything you need is in the same room. So I just encourage these type of movements and opportunities for people to come together. So I applaud that.
Thank you so much. And yes, take advantage of being in real space with people today. Ask them which answer they wrote down up here. Amma, lead us into the next question. Yeah.
So I mentioned earlier that I'm an educator, which means I like homework. So that leads to this question. What is one way you can show up in community with the speakers you heard tonight? And we're not going to turn and talk. We're actually just going to type it in, and we'll see all the commitments that we're making after tonight to remain in this important work together as a community. Right. Donate, that's important. Sharing, stewarding resources, connection. I'm very excited to have follow-up conversations with many of you. We're going to share one last word, and I actually mean one last word. What is the one word you'd like to use to describe the energy you're leaving with today? I know as I was reflecting on today, I kept thinking, I need this space. I need this space. So what is that one bit of energy you're going to be carrying with you? Inspired. I love it. Godfrey, what's your one word?
I'm feeling thankful. I'm feeling thankful that you all are in the world we get to share here in LA. I'm feeling thankful for you all here in support of the work and the people who are doing all of this humbling, inspiring, hopeful work here in LA today. Abba, what's your word?
Hungry. I mean, not just physically, but like hungry for more change and more of this, you know? Yeah.
We can be all types of hungry. And with that, we are going to wrap up our time on the inside of this lovely room and head back out into the courtyard where there'll be more people, more conversation, maybe some more refreshments as well for folks. But again, we really do want to thank, first of all, our fellows for giving their heart and work to our city and to the group of people here who came to see them and hear their stories today. We want to thank you all for being the first audience for the very first Story of Us LA. Coaches, holler to you. That's us. Hello, hello. Thank to us. Coaches. Thank you to our sponsors. We got sponsors who made all of this possible. There was a creative team behind the scenes that we want to thank. You saw some videos. They're taking home videos. You're going to see their pictures again on the internet and other things. And thank you to everybody who made this event accessible and possible as well here at the endowment. And finally, again, this is not the end of our conversations today. It's not just turn and talk. It's go outside and keep talking, and make sure you interface in real time and space with our fellows here who have so much more to share than the 3 minutes they had up on stage. Thank you all. Thank you, Aadam. You did it.